Welcome back to the bird room. Hope we're all doing well and your birds are nice and fit, ready for breeding, if they haven't already started, that is. In today's episode we'll run you through the boarders, mule hybrid pairs. I'm just watching the chaffinch hen here. I'll get her on camera, she's squatting for the greenfinch cock, so hopefully he'll do the job if he knows what he's doing. We'll talk you through the greenfinches and the other British birds that we've got in the bird room, and hopefully you'll find something interesting and maybe take something away from it. Okay, so we'll start a quick roundup with the canaries. With the fifes, we've got quite a few young uns across all colours, allied to whites, cinnamons, we've got fawn, clears and greens. So a brilliant start so far. As you can see in the back, or here in the background, the birds are in full song, in full condition. So there's plenty of eggs and chicks coming out. So anyway, so yeah, we've got quite a few with the fifes, over 40 so far. But I'm not going to talk too much about the fifes today. The main part of the episode is going to be about the British birds and what we intend to do with them moving forward. So quick rundown with the fifes. We've got quite a few young ones, like I said, some just hatching. The boarders, bordering cage number 3, the best pair that we've got. They had eggs, and there was 3 full eggs, 2 hatched. Obviously I weren't going to let them sit, so I put them under cage number 8. So they're doing just fine just now, so hopefully she'll carry on doing the job. One in cage 4, and it was at the end that's always been a bit sick, but seemingly she's come round now and she's built up and ready to lay, same as cage number 1 and 2. So if we could get at least 10 out of 4 pairs, the numbers, the stock should be easily achieved, but you never know, you can never count your chickens. So far as the other birds, cage number 6, the crossbred Yorkie Norwich fife. She was paired to the linnet cock, and we had 2 full eggs out of that. One of them is in there, the other one died. It was just dead in the nest this morning. It happens, that's part of bird keeping, and what's going on with these birds, are going crazy. And you will end up with some fatalities throughout breeding season, as in cage number 7 we had the twite in there from Alan Orey, and it's typical what happens. I spoke to Alan at Stafford, he asked me how it was. Said fighting fit, brilliant bird, no issues. 2 days ago, just dead on the floor. No signs of any sickness or anything like that, so it just happens. So what I've done is I've put the linnet in there. Main reason is because he's an egg eater. When I had her in cage 6 with the crossbred bird, the first 2 eggs he just turfed out and ate them straight away. Like I said, that's the only reason I end up with 2 full eggs. But obviously they're not in there no more. She just sat on dummy eggs at the moment, which I'm going to remove and start her again probably Monday, Tuesday. Depends when I get time to give her a good clean out and stuff like that. So like I said, cage number 7 is with the linnet now. The linnet's with that. They're not bonded or anything. He never bonded with that one either, so it's quite a good way to run him over 2 ends. As the rest of the canaries, as in the fifes, as you will see from the pictures, we've got quite a few fifes at different stages. There has been 1 or 2 that just stopped feeding, and this is it. I'll show you quickly. So I came in this morning, I've got 2 chicks here, 15 days old both of them, rung them as you can see, just came in and they were just dead on the floor. Now my idea behind what's happened is I reckon the cockbird has just chased the hen to go back to nest because she didn't go back to nest, and just stopped feeding the young uns. As it came to about 10 days old, see what I do is I drop the nest pans on the floor using a clay nest pan. Now we do stock these, but it's not something that I tend to send out in the post anymore because every time I do they get smashed. So I use these. I mean, if you wanted some and you want a local sale to me, then by all means I will send you one out. The reason I use these is because they're a lot more stable than what the plastic ones are, and they've got a solid bottom on. So all I do is just put a bit of nesting material in there and sit in the bottom of the cage. And I've got about 10 days, when the chicks are about 10 days old. The reason it is 10 days old is because at least then you've got no danger of the chicks bolting the nest, and you can just transfer them over and they will leave the nest at their own accord. That way you can offer a new nest site in at 14 days, and the hen won't pluck the chicks to get nesting material, and obviously try and use that for building up themselves. So it's a good way of nest management. While I'm talking about nest management, I know everyone's got their own ways of managing the nest, but Matt at the Canary Room did explain a certain few things over the last few years in regards to eggs and how to make sure that one doesn't get stuck in the bottom, because it does happen. I've had it happen myself, even as an experienced breeder. Things still do happen where you have to, when I set my eggs at 5 days, if I'm taking the eggs away, that is, I'm storing them in the egg drawer, I will circle out the bottom of the nest like Matt's showing you in his video. If you haven't seen that, go back and check it out. It's in one of his videos from last year. Also, one thing I have to mention is where I've got perches close to the nest pans, at the side of the nest pans. Let me show you this quick. Where you've got perches at the side of the nest pans, what tends to happen is the birds tend to roost there at night and shit all over the nest pans, and there's nothing worse than that happening. And there is a prime example of it here. I'll try and be quick. Prime example there, look. And so in some of the cages I tend to take the perches away from the nest pan, and at least that way they're not going to be messing all over the eggs, as it does happen quite a lot. And if you've got a load of bird mess on the eggs, just quick rinse under the tap, or even lukewarm water in a cup, and clean it off as soft as you can, because at least that way it's remember, the bird's eggs are porous and you don't want that seeping in, and it hardens the shell. If you try and pick it off, you're going to pick the shell off. One last thing I want to talk to you about with the nest management, and then this is well, it is a tip, but it's something that does annoy me about birds. And this is from cage number 7, which is the Yorkie cross. And anyone that breeds the bigger birds, the Borders, Norwich and Yorkies, will know that they make such a mess of the nests. What I found in the past is when the hens are getting off the nest, they tend to pull the nesting material with them, and it can result in eggs and chicks being on the floor. So if you do ever get them like that, just simply cut it round. I mean, I'd never reuse the nesting material from any nest, but if you wanted to, there'd be no issue with reusing that nesting material, because it's nice and clean. And just shape it up. At least then the hen's got no danger of pulling the nest out with the nesting material. Now, the last tip I'm going to tell you today about nest management is about how you do it yourself as well. Now, this is important. This is one thing that I was told as a kid, and it made total sense to me when I was told it. My dad said to me, when you're taking nests out of the cage, take them above the perch and not below the perch. If you take them above the perch, you're not interfering, you're not going to get caught on anything. If you take it underneath the perch, your hand is actually twisted underneath the perch. At least that way you're not going to drop any eggs out. Obviously these days we have doors on, but the principle's still the same. If you have a solid cage, always go above the perch to get the nest pan out. Just saves a lot of heartache if you drop them out, eggs on the floor or chicks on the floor. Just bear that in mind. So now in the flights we've got all the green finches paired up. We are running 6 pairs this year, unfortunately, because we lost a couple of hen birds on the run up to the breeding season, it does happen. Also, the viewers from the previous shows will know we did have young chicks, but I'll explain them shortly. So we've got all the greenfinches paired up in the flights with different variations of nest pans, and the reason for this is, and not just different variations, in different areas on some. At the back on some we're using chapel ones, we've got cameras on them, so if I need to I can always connect the wires up and see what's going on that way rather than going and disturbing them. Also we're using a box type with cocoa liner, standard type. The birds have bred in them many times, so all they work. Also on the fronts, we've got on the fronts of all the 5 flights, we've got the nest pads with cocoa inserts in there, and it lets the birds decide what they want to breed in at that point. In the past I've had some that are adamant that they'll only go on the front, sometimes they'll only go on the back. This one, in I would say flight 4, as she had the ones that hatched before, seemingly bloody chucked them out. But like I said, I'll explain that shortly. But she's building up again in this front. She's got a nest sat at the back, but for some reason just doesn't want to go in that one. So I'll explain about the young greenfinches now. Now this, around, well, would have been about 10 days ago now, whenever we had the snow anyway, we had the greenfinches hatch, and Sod's Law came in, found them on the floor on in flight 4 and 5. Feeding them totally fine. I didn't understand it, but then I just thought about it. It's the cockbirds again. They are over-conditioned and ready to chase them to go back down again. So what I'm going to do, and what I've started to do, is remove the cockbirds once the ends have laid the full clutch. At least that way she can carry on bringing them up on her own. So like I said, with the greenfinches, they're all ready. I mean, we've got back on eggs now. We've got flight number 5 and flight number 3. Both started laying again today. So hopefully we'll have a flush of eggs and some youngers out of them. The last greenfinch pair is in this flight cage here. Now, she had 5 eggs, 3 of them were full. Came in yesterday, one hatched, and almost instantly it was thrown on the floor. Same thing again, I took that out, and I took the remaining 2 full eggs out as well and put them under a pair of feeders. At least then we're not going to lose everything. She's still sat there nice and, well, she's just come off now. But she sat on 2 clear eggs at the moment. What my idea was to do is to bring the greenfinches on at least 3 or 4 days, then pop them back underneath her and see if she'll bring them up at that point, and once I've removed the cockbird I think it should do the trick. So as you can see, what I've done here is the external bird baths. Now we all use them for different things. I use them for weaning when the time is, when I need them for the young ones to go in. But what I've decided to do at the moment with the flights is put them on the inside here, as you can see. And what I've been doing there is offering green food inside it. They can get in from the inside. I went out a couple of days ago, collected some chickweed and dandelions, which you'll see in a different episode. Put them in there, and dandelion, for anyone that doesn't know, is a brilliant conditioner for birds, especially greenfinches, goldfinches, and they devour him in no time. So the idea was, it's something that Matt said, we all take tips away from each other, and it's common sense. Putting green food on the floor with sawdust, as you like, or easy bed, it takes the moisture out of the green food straight away, so at least this way it stays fresher for longer. So with the British birds, we are running, besides the greenfinches, pair of linnets, pair of chaffinches, a couple of pairs of red poles, and with the hybrid pairs, unfortunately with the one of the bullfinch hen, the one we've had for a few years, she gave up the ghost after 5 years. So we've got a native bullfinch to obviously a greenfinch cock. They've been together quite a while now. We've run a red pole cock in there, see how he's getting on. That was gifted from a friend, Jason Coventry, who's got some fantastic red poles. Talking about red poles, we are running 2 pairs this year. Thanks to my mate Stacey Turner, the Meek and Turner partnership. He sorted me a couple of pairs out, so looking forward to having them back in the bird room this year and just see how they get on. But the pesky little buggers, no doubt they're going to annoy me over the breeding season, but part of breeding birds, and that's what it is. But like I said, with the mules and hybrids, there's one thing that anyone that is new to breeding birds, start off with, actually I mentioned the mule pairs, well I mentioned the linnet mules that's going to them, but also we've got a golden mule pair, but we'll see about them. But mules and hybrids in themselves are not as easy as for someone that's starting off with birds. If you are starting off with birds, try something like siskins. I'd say siskins and red poles. Siskins are probably the easiest by far, and move on then. If by all means, if I was saying start off with any birds, start off with canaries. But if you're adamant of starting off with any birds in the British line, siskins would be the way forward. And such as oh, bloody birds are going crazy. I think it's must be a nutter's day today because they're all fighting. Yeah, chaffinches, brambles, that type of birds are the harder types to breed. So siskins, start off with them if anyone does want to. If someone has asked me how or what birds to start off with, and I would say, yeah, 100% siskins. Greenfinches themselves are not really hard to breed, but the more to the exhibition standard that you do breed your birds, as in greenfinches, the more challenging they become. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, that's it for today from me in the bird room. We have got some footage for the bird rooms of breeders around the UK and Ireland. Just waiting for one more to come in, and then we'll get that edited and get that out to you guys. It's going to be a fantastic watch. I've seen different variations of different bird rooms that people have, and really some fantastic bird rooms out there. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. If you have enjoyed what I have put out today, give it a thumbs up. At least I know I'm doing the right thing and then everyone's enjoying what they are watching. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments and I will do my absolute best to get back to you. So before I do go, if you do need anything bird keeping wise, head over to our website, directbirdproducts.com, as you can see on here. We have a wide range, and if there is something that says out of stock on there, send me a message and I will see if we've still got it in stock, and we have got a lot more coming in, so just check it out, directbirdproducts.com. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next one.